Girl T, and thank you guys for all the crazy stories you guys have been sending me. It's been hard to keep up. I had to take a break this weekend off of Facebook and everything. So I went out. The weather's finally better in Minnesota, so I went out, had fun. I met a few subscribers, so I had a really, really good time. But anyway, so I've been sent 2 crazy stories, and they both hail from our favorite state, ratchet-ass Florida. All right, so my thing is this. I don't understand why a lot of these stories from Florida, a lot of people tend to call themselves God or talk about some type of sacrifice. Here go 2 crazy stories I'm about to share with y'all. So the first story was about a 19-year-old man. He had took some LSD and he went crazy. He took off all his clothes, and when the police were called to come and arrest him, he told the police officers that he was God, and he demanded that the police officers not chop off his penis. So he's screaming, "Don't chop off my penis. Leave my penis alone." And then after a while, he has a change of heart, and then he tells the police to chop off his penis. Needless to say, they didn't chop off anything. They grabbed his ass and they threw him in jail. That story was just crazy when I read about it. Here goes a screenshot. There's no news report on it. It was just reported to the papers. But I'm just like, what kind of drugs do people take in Florida? Because I know a lot of people who get high off of certain things, but they don't strip naked. They don't eat people's faces. They don't turn into zombies. It's just like, what is going on down in Florida? So the second case, I want to shout out Devin. Devin sent me this story. It's about a woman named Alexandra Barnes. She was at a gas station, and she starts going crazy. She starts telling everybody that she's God. She proceeds to light her car on fire. They had to turn off the gas station pumps, and then she started lying and saying that her kids were in the back of the car. When they go to the car to try and rescue her kids, it's 2 dogs. The woman then sits on the curb and just says she wants to be hit by a car. She wants to die. I mean, this whole situation is just really, really scary, and it could have ended up a lot worse than it did. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a news clip, and then I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
The Eyewitness News was there when police say this woman intentionally torched her car at a gas pump.
I got to cut off the emergency valve or we're all going to be dead.
How employees and customers jumped in to protect others and rescue 2 dogs. This is such a bizarre story. Witnesses say at first they had no idea what the woman was doing.
And only Eyewitness News was there as this car burned right next to a gas pump at this station at Nova Road and International Speedway Boulevard in Daytona Beach. Eyewitness News reporter Renee Stoll is live at the station now. Renee, the store clerk told you she thought she was going to die in this. What happened?
Well, the gas station is back to normal now, but the clerks inside say they were just moments away from a massive explosion as after a woman doused her car with gas and lit it. All that's left of 29-year-old Alexandra Barnes' Scion is charred remains, but what she intended to happen to it and the people here at this gas station could have been worse.
She came behind the counter and grabbed a yellow lighter and ran out the door.
You see clerk Craig Walker runs and then tussles with Barnes to get the lighter.
I could smell gas in my hand from wrestling with her.
At that point, she had already sprayed her car with gasoline.
All of a sudden, she grabbed the lighter out of her car and hit the lighter, and the car just went up.
It was just lit up into flames, like 15 different barbecues going on. Huge into the sky.
Only Eyewitness News was on scene to get this video of the car fully engulfed.
And I'm like, I got to go inside. I got to cut off the emergency valve or we're all going to be dead.
Hey, call 911, hurry. Get out.
Larry Romero saw the whole thing from the business next door and says his coworker jumped into action when Barnes started screaming.
She said her babies was in the car, so he ran back to the car. It was actually dogs. Grabbed the dogs out the car, then ran back to the street. Got her because she was sitting in incoming traffic.
She sat down in the middle of US 92, wanted the car to hit her, and she said something about she was God.
Now you can see that pump is not usable. The owner of the BP tells me the only damage, surprisingly and thankfully, that he sustained was to that hose on that pump. Now, as far as Barnes, she was taken to Halifax and she will be under mental evaluation. Reporting live in Daytona Beach.
Okay, so you guys just watched the news clip, and my first thought is somebody needs to spray holy water on both of these people. You know, I've heard the old saying, God walks among us, but I don't think God walks among us in that way. I don't think God walks among us to tell us to do LSD, strip naked, and then demand for the police to chop off our penises. I also don't believe that God walks among us and tells us to, you know, get high, burn up your car at a gas station, lie and say you have kids in the back of your car when it's really your 2 dogs. I mean, the stories that come out of Florida to me make absolutely no sense. And I know I'm going to have some Floridians coming out here to cuss me out and go off and say, why are you always getting on our state? Why are you always calling our state ratchet? Crime happens everywhere. Yes, we've all come to the conclusion that crime happens everywhere. But we've also come to the conclusion that the most craziest, outlandish crime comes from Florida. You guys take the cake. You guys come in first place. You guys are trophy winners of ratchetness. I don't care. And I will continue to report on ratchet Florida stories because guess who sends me these ratchet stories? Floridians on my fan page. Ashley, Jay, Devin, JT. So many people from Florida are on my fan page and they send me these stories because they can't believe the ratchetness going on in their own state. Why do people get high and then assume that they're God? This is not the first instance that people have done this. This has happened, of course, in other states where people would take something and they'll assume that God told them, and they'll say that God told them to sacrifice somebody. If you're going to do some ratchetness and some fuckery, please leave God out of it. Just say you felt like doing it. Stop blaming God. Stop blaming the devil. Take responsibility for your actions. These stories are crazy. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about both stories. All right, leave a comment. Deuces.